Hello, everybody. Hello, world. Welcome to another episode of In the Closet. And of course, you're in my closet, Jennifer Barrow. So good to see all of you. I just want to thank all of my listeners and viewers for participating. You guys are wonderful. When you get into this live, I want you to drop me a heart, drop a star, drop some fire. Let me know that I'm in here. Drop a comment. I want to see you. I want to communicate with you. This platform is different from when we used to just do it in Facebook. So I appreciate you guys. Really, really. Wendy, I see you started following me. Thank you. So tonight, guys, we have a very hard-hitting topic. I'm going to talk about something I've never talked about in the closet, but it's most appropriate because it is a closeted topic. We're going to talk about addiction. How does someone get addicted? What that life is like, but moreover, what happens when you get delivered from it. And my guest tonight is an amazing, amazing person, a very nice person that I've known for quite a few years now. I know his story well, and he is doing so well. When I saw his TikTok, I reached out to him. I just sent him a message and said, "Hey, I'm proud of what you're doing." And he expressed an interest, like to come in the closet. So I'm appreciative. So all of you, you know what I always say, reach out to your friends, reach out to your haters, bring them in, because this is going to be a very, very good episode. So right now I'm going to bring up my guest. His name is Ben Stolz. He's from New Orleans. Ben, come to the front of the congregation and let's talk about it. Hey, Ben.
Hey, good evening. What's up, Jen?
Oh my God. Nothing. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Life's good right now, taking it day by day, just, you know, enjoying every moment right now, seeing what the Lord has to offer for me.
Wow. I want to tell you right now. Oh, I see raining. You're in here dropping fire. I see Queen Darlene in here dropping a heart. I want y'all to reach out to all your queens. Share. I see flowers come and share with your queens. Like I say, holla at your haters. You don't know who you can help, especially when God is blessing you. Ben, I want to tell you to your face, I'm very proud of you. You know, I've known you for a while. And when I saw your TikTok, one, I had to reach out and say, who is producing your TikTok? It looks amazing. The colors are good. And when you said you, I'm like, okay. So I may have to try to employ you to work on my TikTok. My TikTok needs a lot of help. You know, I'm not, everybody who knows me knows I'm not techie. But it's good to see you in a
Yes,
good place
amen.
doing good things. One of the last times I saw you was not such a good situation.
Right.
Um, but I love your transparency. I have to say, you are one of the most real people that I know. And one thing my dad taught me, no matter what situation you're in, good, bad, indifferent, when you real, people gonna accept you. When you fall, people gonna welcome you back because of your realness. So
Right.
when you was doing great, when you was doing not so great, you have honestly been the same person. I can't say that about a lot of people. But I want you to know I recognize that.
Right.
Yeah. So Ben, one, you are so brave. Like you actually came in the closet to talk about. I've never talked about addiction in the closet before. I've hinted a little bit about things that my dad went through, dealing with addiction, dealing with selling drugs, which is another form of addiction. But I have not had anyone in who actually talked about their own personal. You know, it's one thing to talk about somebody else. I haven't had anybody in brave enough to talk about their own situation. So, and I'm going to bring you back because guess what? Other people are going to come to the front of the congregation. They're going to talk about it. So, Ben, tell us. Um,
Hey, look, I'm
First,
trying to
I
figure
want
out. I could barely hear you right now for some reason. Is your volume all the way up?
my volume is all the way up.
Right. All right, mine too. I guess it's just the app that we're on or something. All
Let me
right.
ask my sound
But
person, Darlene, can you hear us well? Because Darlene DeValier has been on every out of New Orleans. Y'all give that queen a hand clap. That's my sound person. She's been on every episode of In the Closet, and she monitors the sound. And if she doesn't say that she can't hear me, then automatically assume that everyone can pretty much hear. Ben, I know you come from a good family. You're an only child, right?
Yes,
So
yeah. I was a twin, but he died at birth, But yes, I'm the only child from my mother. I got two younger brothers and two older sisters, that dealt with addiction as well.
what? Wow. So
Yeah, I know. I
tell
don't
us
think you knew
tell
that.
us about that.
I mean, it's, from my dad's side, my half brothers. My dad, he suffered with addiction as well, with opiates and everything else. I really didn't get to grow up with him too much. He was out of the picture at a young age. Him and mom got divorced when I was like 18 months. And as I got older, I kind of reached out to myself to try to, see what's up with my dad, who he was, and get to know him. And found out, that was still an addiction, and him started, he young. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna blame it on him. I was old enough. I made the choice, to get loaded with him. But anyway,
Hold on,
he
Ben.
passed in
Hold on.
2012.
Wait, hold on. Your sound. Something's going on with your sound. David, can we
All right.
adjust his sound a little bit? What do we? Because I want the audience to really be able to hear this. What should he do, David? For those of y'all in my audience that don't know, David is the leader of our production team out of Africa. What should we do? Say something, Ben, because I
Hey,
don't want him
can you
missing.
hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now. So what you were saying is you got two older sisters dealt with
All right.
addiction, two younger
Yes,
brothers, and so you found
yeah,
your
I
dad.
got two younger. Say that again.
You got two younger brothers.
Yes, I got two younger brothers and two older sisters that battle with addiction as well. My father, he in his life too much growing up. My mama kind of, kept me from him when I was younger due to the lifestyle he was living. So as I got older, I kind of took it upon myself to reach out to him and kind of get to know him, as any young boy would, and got to see for myself that, wasn't a fit father for me to be around at that time. But anyways, he kind of introduced me to a few drugs and stuff, and we used together,
Oh
things
my
like that,
God.
and every time I
Wow.
was around, uh,
Oh my God. Your father introduced you to using drugs. Wow.
to kind of to the opiate, to the heavy use of opiate, like IV use and stuff. I was already
Your
my addiction started at the age of 10, but he kind of introduced me to like the heavier stuff at that time.
wow. Oh my God. Yo, look at the enemy trying to block him off of here because that was heavy because he's about to give you guys a hell of a testimony. Um, David, can we bring him back in? That is wow. His father introduced him to heavy drugs. I was not ready for that. It is not a secret. If you guys are just tuning in to my closet tonight, we're talking about a subject that we've not talked about before. That's addiction. And this is someone that I've known for a few years. Ben, you back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just told the audience, I said, look, the enemy trying to block you.
Yeah, I was
You
just
got a
telling my
hell of a
partner that.
testimony. Your dad introduced your father to heavy drug use. Forgive me for if my reaction seemed a little out the box. But as a child of someone who not only dealt with addiction, but sold everybody knows about my dad. Um, and I've seen some things myself, but at the worst point, I had so much to be thankful for. My dad would not, and that was never a thought. I mean, he never did anything like that around me. So I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's wild. So carry on. He introduces you to heavy drug use. And how old were you?
I was 17 at the time. You know, when all it started, I actually walked in on him in the bathroom, shooting up, you know. And it kind of, it went from there, whatever. He kind of taught me, how to do it properly and whatnot. I'm not blaming it on him. I'm just, that's part of my testimony of how it started. I clearly made the decision to do it, but kind of that's how my heavy drug use started, as far as the IV use with the heroin. So yeah.
Gee, okay, at 17. What some people say they get hooked the first time. Now, what you displayed was something I was gonna ask, but every user always says they remember the first time. They say you spend the rest of your life chasing that first time. Did you get hooked that first time or
Be honest with you, Jen, I was already full throttle in addiction with, pain pills, lean, Zambars, weed, you know. So but that just, once I did it IV, intravenously, like that just, it took off from there. And which led to a series of so many other things. Me, being homeless, getting divorced with my ex-wife, as you know about. I put that drug first. Not that I wanted to. It's just like I had to. It wasn't just like a mental obsession. It was just a physical. Like I needed it to function. And I just fell in love with that drug, with that lifestyle, everything that came with it. At
wow,
that
now
time.
I don't know of anybody else you've been with because I met you at the time that you were with your ex-wife,
Right.
um, who also has a hell of a testimony.
Right.
Um, it's amazing that she was able to stay clean and didn't fall back.
Right. I know. It's only
That's
God.
I have so much respect for her for that, but that spirit, I think it's a spiritual thing. But you tell me, because of all the people that you guys could have found, you found each other, and even though she didn't fall back, she has her own testimony with drug
Right.
use that she tells openly.
Most definitely.
Every
Yeah, I think.
woman you dated after 17, were they dealing with that same addiction?
Oh, most definitely. I wasn't about to date nobody that wasn't getting loaded, or using the same drug on the same kick I'm on. You ain't no good for me. Um, so, and then I wasn't in my right mind. So, like, no healthy woman in their right mind gonna want to deal with Benjamin. So I'm in the streets. I'm manipulating women, to be honest, at that time. Doing whatever I need to do to make sure I'm straight for the day. Yeah, like I heard a lot of people in the process, especially like my close family members, them seeing me like that. I know my mom, I put her through hell and back. I'm surprised she even still alive. And I wasn't just hurting myself, but everybody else that it was impacting as well. Because like I had a one-track mind. I woke up in the middle of the night plotting how I'm gonna get my next bag, or how, what I'm gonna do to get it, because I'm not about to be dope sick. So yeah, it it, it was just a vicious non-ending cycle. Rehab after rehab, overdose after overdose. Shalonda had to she saved me several times. um
Yeah.
is So I know God had her in my life for that season. Because if not, I'd have for sure been dead, on top of many other occasions. Um, dealing with my opiate addiction.
Ben, tell me something. There are a lot of women I see on TikTok, and they try to counsel each other, and they're always talking about, if he don't call you right back, it's another woman. If he don't text you right back, it's another woman. If he go missing for hours, it's another woman. If he stay out all night, but they never say he might be on dope. I've been waiting for that TikTok. That's the only reason why I watch him. I'm like, they got all these things. Nobody ever says that. But Ben, would you tell them, would you explain to some of these sisters out here, women who might be watching this, what the signs are to look for in a man who it might be another woman. Her name is heroin.
Right, exactly. You never know what the next man's going through.
Because one thing about heroin addicts, they clean. He gonna dress good, he gonna smell good. How would they know?
A lack of sex. Their sex drive is gonna be gone. It might isolate a little more. You definitely gonna find, the money missing from the bank account a lot more. Money's gonna be a lot of excuses about where the money's going is gonna come up a lot of lies, a lot of maybe isolation, a lot of days they might miss work, or that they late for work, or they not showing up to family events, going on vacations, coming up with excuses about why they can't make it on vacation or something, because they don't want to leave, too far from the dope man, because they're going to be dope sick, with that specific drug, with any kind of opiate, your body needs that to function, so just little things like that. Like, it took my sex drive from me to the point where I couldn't even come up with no excuses. She knew, she just could tell, things was different. You just become numb, you're not as affectionate. You're not as, your self-esteem kind of drops, because you're not handling your business your duties as a man, as a husband should be handling them, it just varies with the individual, you just got to know your spouse. But yeah, like, I was always clean cut. You could never really tell by my appearance, but, I would get irritated a lot. My nerves would be bad, especially if I didn't have it, when I needed it, you spend hours in the bathroom, just things like that, leaving family functions early, showing up late, just, a bunch of things, especially like money, like, money's you keep finding yourself coming up with excuses for the money. Your spouse gonna know what's going on. Like, finally gonna run out of excuses. Like, nobody's that crazy. They gonna know something's going on. This person got to be on some type of drugs or something.
Wow.
But see, with me, like, I couldn't hide it really, because I go to the extreme. I'm burning. I'm ducking out. I'm burning holes in the comforters. We'd have to replace the comforters maybe 2-3 times a month. I'm going to sleep burning holes in the sofa with the cigarettes. Just like, yeah. So you can't really hide it, to be honest with you. At least I couldn't really. I thought I could, but everybody I was with always knew. When I'm loaded.
That's because they were in that life as well.
Right.
Oh my God, Ben.
Some people are good at hiding it, I don't know. I could only hide it for so long, like, because if I'm doing it, I'm all in, I'm 0 to 100. So really ain't no hiding it with me. As soon as I get loaded, my whole demeanor changed, my attitude changed, everything, like, it's up.
Well, we're gonna go to commercial break. This is a great conversation. When we come back, we're going to talk about what started turning everything around for you. I appreciate you being here. We're going to be back in the closet with my special guest, Ben Stolz. We'll be talking about addiction. We talked about the life. We're going to talk about how God saved him when we come back.
Hey, my name is Mike. here to do a review for Essential Credit Solutions, a company that I personally use, a company that I suggest and advocate for. I was in a situation, recently divorced, credit was completely shot, and I needed someone to help me fix it. So over the course of, let's call it a month and a week or so, I was able to raise my credit score over 130 points.
Hi, I'm Nikki Jack, founder and CEO of Coco Elan. After struggling with my own skin sensitivities, I created a natural aluminum-free deodorant that actually works, without the harsh chemicals. Coco Elan gives you long-lasting odor protection, designed for sensitive skin, but perfect for everyone. Visit www.cocoelanco.com and experience natural confidence today.
I guess we're not back in yet.
No, I tell you I'm gonna do something, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, Ben, I think we're back.
All right.
Hey, yes, to my audience, you're watching In the Closet with Jim Barone, another episode, and we're talking about addiction. When God steps in, when God delivers you, and with my special guest, Ben. Ben, again, thank you for being here. So in our first segment, we talked about when you got started. You got started on heavy intravenous drugs at 17 by your dad with his assistance. Wow. And then you lived in that life and talked about the women, and we brought in a strong point, ladies. If you got a man with no sex drive and he's not consistent, not texting back, not calling, returning your calls, not answering your calls, disappearing for hours, it might not be another woman. It might be way worse. It might be he's on addiction. And like I said, I never heard them talk about that much on these different lives where different women are giving advice, and even some men. So Ben, you don't have any kids biologically, right?
Yeah, I got a daughter. She just turned 16, September 18th.
Okay, so you have one child. How is she?
She's good, that's another thing that like my addiction messed
You know what?
up.
I remember your ex-wife talking about that. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you seeing her now that you're clean, or?
No, not yet. That's something I'm trusting God to work out. He's a God of restoration and reconciliation. I did a lot of damage. And that's one of the things like she was took from me. I raised her from birth all the way till she was about 5 years old. It's a long story with that. My baby mama, she got killed 2 years ago on Father's Day, but her mother been raising her and between my mom, but like that's another situation. Like I'm trusting God with too, with her mother who is raising her now. Like, she tried stopping my mom from seeing her, for no reason. My mom don't even have a speeding ticket on her record. My mom had to go to Supreme Court in Alabama to fight for grandparents' rights, and because of my mom winning grandparents' rights in Alabama, it's not like Louisiana. They didn't have grandparents' rights, so my mom had to take that to Supreme Court for years just for her to get visitation of her. Well, she won, and now she set the pathway for all the grandparents in Alabama to now start having grandparents' rights.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's something God, took what the enemy meant for evil and worked it out for good for all those grandparents, and now last and not least, I'm waiting on him to restore me and her relationship, because she done brainwashed her about her daddy, things like that. Which I'm grateful now that I'm older and wiser, that God didn't allow her to be in my life, because I wasn't fit for that. I'm gonna just be honest, and I'd rather her be out of my life instead of in and out of my life as a young girl. You see what I'm saying? Because I was getting locked up. I was going to rehab. You know, I was going to
I remember.
prison behind my addiction. So, and then my baby mom, before she passed, you know, she was dealing with addiction as well. You know,
Hmm.
we had her at the age of 19. You know, and I was nowhere near ready to have it out my system, or ready to have a child at that. But you know,
And
for
see,
whatever
that's
reason,
another thing that a lot of ladies, they criticize, and I'm not knocking the ladies. I'm here. Things I bring in my closet is to bring awareness. A lot of times, ladies, if the child's father isn't present, sometimes it's better for him to not be present. You don't always know what situation you be sending your child to. Sometimes that's best. So you went through all this. Now I want to talk about your TikTok, because when I saw your TikTok, I was very excited to see you. Um, last time I'd seen you in person, Ben, I gave you a ride from rehab.
right? Detox, yeah,
Yeah. And it's, for me, always good to see somebody doing better. I did not know you well. I knew your ex-wife, and y'all was in a situation. She was trying to work. She said, Jennifer, do you mind? Go. I said, I got it. So
right.
I'm really glad to see the restoration that you have. Your TikTok, you're talking about God. I want you to tell the audience, what connection, how did God reach you? Because I know God kept you. He
Right.
kept you for many years. But God keeping you, and you allowing him, because he was always present, but you allowing him to be in your life. What changed? Because we used to go to church together at a certain point. What
Right.
what finally clicked?
Man, I just got tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got tired of everything that came behind my addiction, you know. I was so deep in it though, like I didn't have the strength to stop. You know, like I needed God to come in and do for me what I couldn't do for myself. Cause like I said, I tried going to 90 different rehabs. I went to detoxes. Like um it, I just had that stronghold on me, that bondage on me so hard that's like I just needed God to intervene, you know, but his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. You know, we're not on his time zone. You know, I chose that life. So it's like he kept me safe through it. He kept his hand on me through it, you know, but there were so many lessons that I was learning throughout um every overdose, throughout every time I went to rehab and prison and things like that. It's like I had to stop choosing to go back to my entanglement. You know, I see drugs wasn't the problem, you know. Benjamin was the problem. You know, I had a lot of trauma that I was just using the drug to suppress it with, you know. So I just had to like get on my hands, and there's so many times, like this last time when I got locked up, like I overdosed, all right, 2 years ago. You know, I've been clean off heroin out of 2 years. I had one relapse on heroin, you know. But anyways, 2 years ago, February 24th, this February 24th, it'll be 2 years. That's my last overdose, major overdose, hospitalized overdose. I left the hospital. I woke up, I left the hospital, and left AMA, went and got my truck out to impound NOPD, where they found me at on the scene. I was dead in the truck, you know. Paramedics had to bust out the window, revived me on the scene. They brought me to Tulane. I came to, and as soon as I come to my senses, like I left. And when I went to get my truck, I had my heroin and my syringe right there. So I instantly got loaded, got my truck out the impound. I was driving through the ninth ward, swerving, and that was it. God was like, all right, I got to do something with him. So he allowed the police to pull me over. I'm on probation. They found a heroin in the truck. They take me to jail. I sat in there for 6 months. I'm fighting my charge. I go to court, and they was wanting to give me some, you know, several years, and they decided to let me go to rehab for a year. If I don't complete that year, then, you know, I'm backing up 5 years flat. And you know, that like when it happened, when I got arrested that day, leaving the hospital from that overdose, like when I made it to the back, I'm detoxing. bad, you know. So like, I cried out to God. I cried out to God. It's like, God, like, I can't do this. Like, I need you to do something for me. I don't care how long I'm doing in prison. Like, you just have your way with me. If I gotta once, you know, just use me while I'm behind these walls, Lord, to reach out to inmates, to minister to them, to bring the gospel to them, you know, because I was always a believer. I was always a man of
Yeah.
faith. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to give my selfish way of living up. You know, I was wanting to live in Benjamin's will instead of submitting to God's will, you know, and everybody knows that has a calling on their life. Like, he's gonna shake your life up until you submit to your calling, you know, like Jonah, you know.
Yeah, so that's amazing. You are so very strong. Like, well, I've encountered throughout my life different individuals who have dealt with addiction. And one thing I can say, usually a lot of times they're pretty open. And I guess
Oh yeah.
when you're in that life, you go through so many things till, I don't know, you tell me, why does it seem that people who deal with addiction are just seem to be very easily open?
Well, I mean, I can't really speak for nobody else, but I know for me, like, because I know what not sharing my testimony can do for somebody. Like, the pain I've been through, um, every tragic situation I've been through my addiction. Like, my partner overdosed in my bed. I had to call his mama and tell him just a bunch of things like that. You know, I had to forgive myself for. There's no way like I could just keep all that stuff in, because I never know who I'm not helping by not sharing that, you know, letting people know that, like, yeah, we go through things, you know, but we serve a big God. There's nothing we go through that's bigger than God, you know. I want to help people, reach out to people like that, let them, you know, because we are as sick as our secrets are, you know. That was the main reason I
Big.
stayed loaded.
That's big. We are as sick as our secrets.
Yeah, that's the main reason I stayed in my addiction for so long, because I kept suppressing all that stuff inside of me, you know. So throughout the years, it just, you know, I learned that it's our right to be vulnerable. You know, as men, we raised, you know, not to show emotion, not to, you know, do things like that that'll make you look weak, you know. But when you begin to know your identity in Christ, when you step into the will of God, you know, like, you learn that it's our right to be like that. We human, we have emotion, you know. So like, I don't want to hold things back. I know who I am, you know. And my past, you know, it don't define me, but instead now today I allow it to refine me. You know,
You
that
do.
was,
You
you know,
do.
that
I want to catch you right there because you're TikTok. What inspired you to start your now? People who know you, some people on here watching may know you. You're a barber.
oh yeah.
You're a licensed barber. Barber in the hood. You do excellent fades. You are known for the fade. A lot of people on here probably gonna see you and think about Paul Wall. Like, one thing about it, you always kept a tight fade. So on your TikTok, I noticed you're in the community. You're ministering to some of the guys who you either cut hair with or some of your clients.
Right.
Tell me about that. What started that? How did you
Well,
get? I mean, the bravery to go on TikTok, and you obviously already have 1,000 followers because they let you be live.
right. Like I said, I want to get my testimony out there. I like interacting with people who've been through the struggle of addiction. You know, the enemy tried to keep me quiet for so long, you know, by keeping me uh, isolated and stuck in my entanglement, you know. And even in my addiction, I'm bringing hope, you know, like encouraging people, things like that. Even through the midst of us, you know, being in a bad situation, sleeping in abandoned houses. My mom used to, you know, have to come get me out of abandoned houses in New Orleans East. You know, she found me and ducked out and just all kind of things. You know, so like, I don't know. I'm just a people person. I'm aware of my calling now. You know, and I just like being able to talk about what God's done for me and what he's do for me. I know he'll do for them as well and bring hope, you know. And while I'm cutting their hair, you know, God allows that an opportunity for me to just be able to converse with them on whatever level or whatever struggle they might be dealing with that day, So I
Well, one
just
thing that's awesome, and that's true. Um, I got some people that's gonna join the panel to give you some support. We all need support sometime, and somebody out the east. He's from uptown, but he's familiar with the east. He's been on my show before, and that's Eddie Shannon. I'm gonna bring Eddie on from New
right.
Orleans. I thought it was befitting to bring somebody from New Orleans on here with you, and he can kind of relate to your testimony in a sense. I'm gonna let him tell it. Hey Eddie, how you doing?
Hey Jen, how you doing? What's up,
I'm
Ben?
doing good. I'm
What's up? How
doing
you
good.
doing? Good evening.
I
Uh,
don't know if when Ben used to go to church with me, I don't know if you ever visited when he was there, if you guys ever met him. Maybe you know each other from around New Orleans. I don't know. Um, but Eddie, I know I told you the topic yesterday, and you said you wanted to come in and kind of share. So I'm gonna give you the floor for a second.
um, well, look, as I grew up, uptown in the '90s, and surrounded nothing but the hustlers and stuff like that, drug dealers, and I got to see a lot, experience a lot, and often a lot of times, um, when you growing up, you running with a pack of wolves, and if it look like a wolf, balk like a wolf, run like a wolf, and eat like a wolf, then you a wolf. So um, I laid up there and got caught up into the recreation activities, and one thing led to another. I tried that boy like about maybe 3 times in my life, but it just wasn't my thing. I was an upper dude. I was about that coke. So the trials were a little bit different. You ain't gonna rip and run all night on that boy. You know what I'm saying? But when you rocking with that girl, you running all night, all day, all night. Like and it really. I was still functioning and working, but it was a big hindrance because you out of your element. Uh, you did a whole lot of sweating. You just was really out of the mind frame of doing anything with yourself. It's for some I wasn't somebody who was like hitting that horn, but I used to roll them geeks like. But it still kind of had the same thing because it just wasn't never enough. And like when you can be a functioning heroin addict. You'll never know, a lot of times. But the coke is different. It you move different ways. Like, it's not just going allow you to just get your hit for the day and you good for the rest of the day till tomorrow morning. No, shit. When you fucking on that girl, you running constantly. So one thing I realized that um it was a time I had a partner of mine. He was boyed out, and man, he started cramping up, and we sitting out smoking our little sweeties, you know what I'm saying? And man, we just kept noticing. He kept rolling on the floor and grumbling, and he was telling me, I said, man, what's wrong with you, bro? He said, man, the pain, the pain. I said, where's hurting at? And he was like, in my bones, like you can't. It's not like your muscles. Like he
Yeah.
was saying, it was inside his bone. Like you couldn't
Gee,
massage nothing.
wow,
Yeah, that's where the pain was coming from. And we had to take him to the hospital. If we wouldn't have took him to the hospital, he'd have
you
damn sure
died.
died that night.
I
So
I want you to hold right there. We're gonna take one more commercial break, pick up where we left off because when we come back, I want to be able to share with parents. They got a lot of parents out here, who do not realize the signs of when their children are tampering with and playing with drugs um, until it's too late. And I want to talk about that. And I also have a life coach that we're going to bring on to talk about getting help. So we're not done to my audience. We're going to go on a commercial break. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you guys. Thank you, Eddie, for being on here with Ben. Um, hey, as a community, we got to support each other. I like, I like the camaraderie and I appreciate you guys because this is very, very brave what you guys are doing. You guys are watching In the Closet. We're going to go to commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Life coach. Yeah. Yeah. Damn thing straight. Good. Good job.
Hey, my name is Mike, here to do a review for Essential Credit Solutions, a company that I personally use, a company that I suggest and advocate for. I was in a situation, recently divorced, credit was completely shot, and I needed someone to help me fix it. So over the course of, let's call it a month and a week or so, I was able to raise my credit score over 130 points.
Hi, I'm Nikki Jack, founder and CEO of Coco Elan. After struggling with my own skin sensitivities, I created a natural aluminum-free deodorant that actually works, without the harsh chemicals. Coco Elan gives you long-lasting odor protection, designed for sensitive skin, but perfect for everyone. Visit www.cocoelanco.com and experience natural confidence today.
Okay, we are back. If you are just joining In the Closet with me, Jen Barone, I have some awesome guests tonight. My main guest is Mr. Ben Stolz, who came on here so bravely and discussed his addiction with the world with hopes of being able to help someone. That is amazing. And I brought in Mr. Eddie Shannon, who also I did not know. I've known him for some years, and he shared with me his past, experiments with addiction. And like I said, it's just very brave. They're both on here to help people. I want the two of you, and we're joined now by Mr. Lord Acumen, who is actually a life coach. He works with young adults. He works in the child support system. He often has to remove children from their parents. Well, not remove them, but he's seeing a lot of parents who maybe can't pay their child support, get behind because they're dealing with addictions, and just the myriad of. He's familiar with the not just child support. What is it when foster care? Kids are removed because of addiction. So all three of these young men on here so bravely talk, we're going to talk about different aspects. I want to talk about or present to the audience for parents out there who have kids who are dealing, especially high school boys, sometimes girls, many times, dealing with addictions. And the parents don't even know until it's like the end, till it's too late, till there's a need for rehab. Can you guys share some of the things that parents should be looking for?
Did any one of you guys want to go first?
Well, I think the main person, Brother Ben, should kick it off, and we just follow behind you.
Yep, that works.
Right. The question was, what the parents should be looking for?
Yes, Ben. I mean, like you said, at 17, you'd actually been dealing with drugs since the age of 10.
Right.
How did you bypass your mom? Because she's quite attentive. You don't have an absent mom. Your mom's not on drugs.
Right. I'm gonna keep it real. Like my mama knew I smoked weed,
Oh.
Right. I was a problem child. I'm a, I was at that age. I was bad. She didn't. I ain't gonna say she approved of it, Jen, but like like I said, I didn't really have no daddy in my house at that time. I didn't really have too much structure. My mama did what she could do with me at that time, you know. But so yeah, I started smoking, you know, and started selling in school and stuff at the age of
How did
10.
you start selling drugs at 10? How where did you get drugs to sell?
Oh, and from the older cats in the neighborhood, you know, put me on. I was always skipping school. The principal would bring me home at 11 o'clock, you know, because I was so bad in school that they would just let me go a half a day and bring me home the other half. So I'm running the streets while my
Wait,
mom is
what?
at
Wait. The principal would bring you home from school
right at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning,
at
and like
in fifth grade
yeah.
and not report to truancy.
Well, they had it set up like that, you know. I was in behavioral class, you know, and they couldn't do nothing with me, so they was trying to work with me, and it was like, all right, Mr. Stowe, so look, we just gonna let you stay here half a day, and we, you know, I'm gonna bring you home, and we just gonna count it as a whole day, you
Now I'm
know.
gonna ask you something personal. People are saying this is getting getting deep. It is. Did something happen to you? If you don't want to share, that's fine. I'm just trying to see. I'm not under like what happens that you get so bad and so out of control.
Nothing really tragic happened. Like, I guess I was just angry, you know, at the fact like I didn't have my daddy in the household with me, and then like the neighborhood out. I mean, I'm not really. I can't really blame it on no certain thing. You know, I guess just the lifestyle I chose. I looked up to people in the street instead of looking up to, you know, my father figure in the house at that time. You know, so
So
it
you
corrupted
had
my
a father figure in the house and he didn't try to interact or discipline you or
who that who.
the father figure you had in the house at the time.
I mean, he my stepdad at the time,
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, he tried, you know, but I didn't respect him, you know. Um, and then I was out, like I said, I was always out. I'd come home and I was always out riding four wheelers. I was in the streets, you know. And I didn't really like my stepdad at the time, and he wouldn't be home too often either. And like I said, my mama didn't really know what to do with me. She was a good mama. Like my mom was there, like you know, she enabled me a little bit, but that was all she knew what to do at the time, you know. But like I said, I think it all stemmed from me just being angry or whatnot at my situation. I'm not really sure, you know. But I just started looking up to the wrong things outside of my home, to the wrong people, you know. But anyway, you know, yeah, somebody put a quarter pound in my hand at that time, and you know, just kind of showed me the ropes or whatever. And you know, I would come home from school at a half a day, and now I'm just in the streets, uh, you know, thugging pretty much, you know. Um, and so yeah, but anyways, like back to your question, I guess like the main things parents could look for, you know, definitely in a change of mood, a lack of interest in like their regular activities, hobbies, things like that. You're gonna start seeing, you know, like you know your children, you know, it's especially like if they're getting loaded on weed or pills or anything, you know, every day they're just gonna lose interest. Like me, I lost interest. I was all-star basketball, all-star baseball player, you know, like as soon as I started getting like my addiction started getting a little deeper with the, you know, start off with the weed and the pills and the drinking excessively. You know, when I got 17, I started messing with the coke and the dope, things like that, you know, but you're just gonna lose interest in your daily activities, you know. The parents are gonna be aware of that, you know, lying, you know, things are gonna come up missing around the house, probably jewelry. They probably gonna go in their parents' purses or whatnot, or you know, that's the type of things I was doing. You know, I was stealing money out of my mama's purse at that age. Jewelry, you know, my mama couldn't keep no jewelry around. I ain't gonna lie, I'm taking all that. And it just is what it was at the time, you know. Um,
Eddie, you want to chime in? Because Eddie,
Uh,
you went to private school. I'm just amazed over here.
well, like I said, but once I graduated and went to Southern for that year, when I came back, I jumped off the porch, and like I said, it started with the weed. Then it got into the coke. Then it got into the PCP. The angel dust. They used to actually, make the juice with it. Used to call them wet daddies back in the
I
day.
don't know, but I'm listening. Okay.
So and then like I said, different type of drugs will produce different type of uh, I guess, you know, responses. Like you could smell weed. With coke, you're fidgety, you're amped up, you're wired. With the heroin and the opiates, you're ducking. But a lot of these young kids nowadays, they not on that stuff no more. They on pills. And see, that's like a lot harder to detect, because it has no smell, and depend on what kind of pill that they on, it just may be harder. So my advice to parents is to just really pay careful attention to your children and who they running with. That's
Right.
got a lot to do with what route they take and which way they go when it come down to dealing with drugs and stuff like that. Because usually, if your child is being influenced by someone who's walking a certain line out there, more than likely they not. If you're coming from a structured home, more than likely the person who they running with not. So they'll be more prone to show what's actually going on in the life they living and the things they enter. So you just gotta monitor your children, know who they rocking with, know where they going and where they hanging out at, and that'll give you a heads up, pretty much so. Because nowadays, like I say, these new drugs, these kids out here, they don't it's just different. There's no smell and stuff like that. They doing different things now than what we did back in the day.
Yeah, then they pressing the pills with the fentanyl, so you really don't know what
Right.
you're getting,
That's
you know.
Wow. Lloyd, I'm gonna go to you. Lloyd is, for those people who've seen him on the show before, he's an author and he's a very spiritual man. Now, you have a testimony as well. You want to share a little bit about your testimony, because now he works at child support, a former police officer, I believe. Go ahead and bring us your testimony, and how you think parents what they should look out for in terms of supervising their kids and making sure they don't get off into the life, like they say.
Thank you, Jennifer. And Ben and Eddie, you guys was definitely dropping some gems. As far as my testimony, I pretty much grew up being raised in the pathway of a Christian. I wouldn't say I necessarily come from a Christian family, but that was kind of like their choice when it came to going to church sometimes. And throughout my life, I would probably say I was in and out when it comes to studying God. I got into, school, sports, and I didn't really have a strong support when it came to just studying God. It just wasn't the type of family that I came from. And just long story short, I recently came across the Holy Quran, and I actually finished reading that book this year. And so now I'm actually studying the Islamic faith, aka the Muslims. So it's been my testimony. And as far as God, I mean, I've always believed in God, even at my worst, even when I was at my rock
Mm.
bottom. Like some of the things that Ben was talking about, I never once did betray God. Actually, in one of the books that very inspired me in the Bible was the Book of Job. That book really resonates with me a lot because that's that's some of the things I went through as well that Job went through, and I never once gave up my faith. I might have complained, I've been angry, um, I was lost, but I never once decided to be an atheist or even go join the other side like I've seen some of my very own people who I used to rock with do. Um, so that's just where I'm at as far as spiritually. And when it comes to watching your kids for the drug addiction that seems to be a ever growing problem, one of the things that I want to throw in the pot is you want to pay attention to your kids' behavior. And so it's not about watching your kids all the time like a parole agent or a probation officer, but you want to just pay attention because the small signs turn into big signs. So what I mean is, let's say your kids when they get out of school, or maybe part-time job because they're in high school, they come home after they get home a part-time job, and they usually watch TV, they eat dinner, something like that, but all of a sudden they start taking a shower on a particular schedule, or even sometimes even every day. See, that's something that you want to pay attention to. I'm not saying it's necessarily a red flag, but that's a way that they could be concealing maybe a smell, or maybe some kind of substance that might be on their clothes, like when they're smoking, things like that, freebasing. That's just something to pay attention to. You definitely want to watch your kids' mental health issues. From my observations, from what I've seen, people who tend to get caught up in the drug life, people tend to think it's always peer pressure and partying. That might be like an introduction sometime, but as far as the long-term consistency, that's usually where mental health issues come in. And not to get too deep with that, it's just, common things like anger, depression, and of course, fear. So just make sure you have a close relationship with your children. You have that trust. You're not going to be too judging, right? Because you do want them to come to you, not necessarily their friends, because their friends may not even be qualified as you may be as a parent. So just know what's going on with your kids, how they really feel. Don't just ask how you doing, but ask, what's really going on. How your friends treating you. If they're in a relationship, ask about their relationship, and just really be there for them, because 9 times out of 10, when it comes to the drug scene, from what I've seen, people feel more lonely when they're around certain people than they do when they by themselves. And so I'll leave it.
Wow. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you contributing to my viewing audience. If you have a topic that you would like me to cover in the closet, send me a DM. I'm very open to it because, In the Closet was formed to talk about things that people tend to keep in the closet that they don't normally talk about. Guys, I thank you guys. Next week, I'm going to have some women on. It's time for the ladies to get back in the closet. The men have kind of taken over the closet. Men are hitting me. They want to come on and talk about things. I am grateful to God for giving me an idea that seems to be a safe space, if you will. So I appreciate you guys. Ben, would you tell us tell the audience how they can friend you on TikTok or connect with your TikTok?
Yeah,
that they can put it.
All right, my TikTok is Ben Stoltz, STOLZ 777. My Facebook is Ben Stoltz. And yeah, y'all could just follow me and I'll follow y'all back. Kind of keep, up to date with me, see what God's doing through me now. Everything I'm doing in a, community where I'm at. The videos I drop that the Spirit puts on my heart. I might be in the middle of work and I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll be obedient to what the Lord's trying to tell me and I'll put it out there, just things like that. So yeah, I live in a community, right now, like I was saying, I'm currently in a halfway house right now. So I'm around addicts 24/7. I'm interviewing them, they testimony, things like that, the real deal. So yeah, if y'all interested, go ahead and follow me, Ben Stowe 777. That's my TikTok. And yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm very grateful to you. I will keep up with you. We'd like to bring you back periodically, maybe during the holidays, kind of encourage some people, because I know that's a trying time, and
Right.
the time where a lot of people relapse and fall back into their addictions. Holidays tend to be hard. Eddie Shannon, thank you. We'll be praying for your grandmother. I know you rushed from her bedside, the hospital, to be able to be in place to contribute to the closet. So appreciate you for that. Lloyd, all the way from California. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you have a book, your book, Open Minds. Great, great book, great work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think the office, my back office, they usually have a picture of it when you were on. They dropped it. I don't know if they can bring it to the front of the screen, but how can people reach you on your social media if they want to get your book, if they want to book you for any counseling efforts?
Yeah, so you can find me on all platforms at Lloyd Acumen, LLOYD ACUMEN, and just send me a DM. Don't be shy. I'm very open. You're not bothering me. I know we live in a society where everybody's kind of like super busy. Just send me a DM, and I'll see what I can do for you. And I'll even and if any of you guys DM me, I'll actually send you Open Mind for free, so I can actually mail that to you for free. And keep in mind, too, I do have 2 books, and I am working on the 3rd book. So the first one, like Jennifer said, which thank you, Jennifer, Open Mind, The Secret Keys to Your Inner Powers. You can find that on Amazon. If you just look up my name, Lloyd Acumen Open Mind, it would show right up. And then the second book that I have is called Escape from Your Misery. Okay. And I kind of explains itself right there as far as what I am teaching. And the 3rd book I'm working on is called The Power of Mentorship, because you don't have to do everything on your own. In fact, when you look at different books, including books like the Bible, the Quran, and even various people who you may even look up to, 9 times out of 10, they had a mentorship somewhere. And so I'm breaking that down too in that 3rd book. So that'll be coming soon. So again, all my books are on Amazon. Send me a message on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook at Lloyd Acumen. And thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. To my viewing audience, thank you. I will see you next week in my closet, Tuesday night, 8:30 Central. Peace. Bless y'all. Thank you.
Peace.